Hello, hi everyone. Tonight I'm going to do something very unique that I have not done in my practice so far in the last year. This is the first time in my life that I'm going to do an entire 1 hour full podcast of me talking about my thoughts in the about the film industry and specifically English movies and some English movies that I like, the direction in which Hollywood is doing, going, and like where things are currently there, and what I hope to see in the future in through Hollywood, and all of this is going to be fully 100% improvised, no script, no nothing, just every single thing that comes to my mind. I'll just simply say it just through my mouth. Yeah, thank you. So, uh, let's talk about what is like first on my mind. I'm seeing the movie Tropic Thunder right now, so that's on my mind right now. I was just talking to my buddy Kevin about the movie Tropic Thunder, and he described it as like really racist by today's standards, where an Australian actor played an African American, and his accent in this movie was described as like what most Americans would describe as very racist, as and he, the Ben Stiller acts in this movie, and Ben Stiller is seemed to be portraying a hand portraying a mentally retarded like mentally challenged person like in this movie, and he did it in a way that kind of like made fun of the mentally challenged person. As a result, people saw this movie as being very insulting to the handicapped community and mentally handicapped communities respectfully, and so on and so forth. But the like I'm trying to get the proper lighting and everything, but all that done being said, like no one can deny, like the people who are claiming Tropic Thunder to be racist or non-racist cannot deny that this movie is not funny. No one can claim that this movie is 100 is remotely not funny. Even the harsh critics of this movie really love this movie, and all the and they're very much really entertained by this movie, and it goes to show that like humor cuts across generational lines, and it cuts across what people perceive as racism and not racism, because humor is something that all humans can very easily relate to, because it makes them happy, it makes them smile, it makes them blush, and it really brightens up their mood a lot. And this is the thing with the Tropic Thunder, and there is a scene in the middle of Tropic Thunder where Robert Downing Jr. he says the he says the famous line, uh, "Do not go full retard," where he explains that Forrest Gump may look retarded and act retarded, but he is in fact actually very intelligent and is not a mentally challenged person. As a result, like he found it funny, and he explains the some of the issues of going full retard as like I Am Sam's in 2001's I Am Sam by who was the guy who played I Am Sam? Jake. Who was the guy who played I Am Sam? Sean Bean's in I Am Sam, and he claims it as like us not going full retard. But I distinctively remember that the Tamil remake of the movie I Am Sam was a huge blockbuster hit. Deva Tirumagal was the Tamil remake of the hit classic I Am Sam, and the actor Vikram, he played this movie with so much vigor, in so much passion, with so much like enthusiasm, that like you are forced to kind of like root for this mentally challenged person who is not even remotely intelligent and has no sticking plot points, simply because uh, he is a very likable character, and that was the reason for the success of the movie, like Deva Tirumagal in the Tamil movie industry. So for so I'm just seeing my lighting. I'm just seeing my everything all well and good. Yeah, you're looking good, Naveen. Yeah, you're looking like really handsome. So yeah, that's the gist of the movie, and how the I am Sam like shaped like the movie industry. I mean, not movie industry. How like Robert Downey Jr. gives the example of don't be a fool, don't go for it, but like it is inductive that you are supposed to like take some creative liberties, but also genuinely portray a character so that the audience can love and appreciate that said character. So that's with I'm Sam, and going forward through this movie Tropic Thunder, you see that Tom Hanks, he plays Les Grossman, and I think it is an English play of words, as in like this guy is Grossman, but like he is like Les Grossman. And at the end of the movie, he Tom Cruise does a dance number which is like phenomenal, and like I still remember to this day that how Tom Cruise made how Tom Cruise did the dancing, and I was also like remember the time when like Tom Cruise did the famous dialogue where he would speak to the alleged kidnappers, and he would say, "Oh, listen, look back, fuckface. Take it. Why don't you take a big step back and fuck your own face?" Is what he would say, and that like it cranks me up every time I actually like hear that person like speaking, hear like Tom Cruise utter that dialogue. And Matthew McConaughey is in this movie, and in this movie plays the agent. He's the talent agent for Ben Stiller and for promoting, and he is responsible for promoting his movie. I still remember like Ben Stiller's Matthew McConaughey's like fight with Les Grossman, and where like Les Grossman says like, why don't we simply forget this whole deal, and I in return I will give you a G5 airplane in order to forget for your client. But like Matthew McConaughey simply refused to take that deal, because he was a man of principle, and he decided to stick with his client through thick and thin, like a normal reporter, like any normal, like any like law-abiding person, or like anyone with ethics, yeah, anyone with ethics. I'm just seeing my pump here. Like, do I have like a good pump? Yeah, I can pump check. Yeah, they're all well and good. So that's it, man. Like, it's a really, really wonderful movie, and like I still remember like Matthew McConaughey's scene, like where he's offered the G5 airplane, but he refuses to take the G5 airplane. And during my like inauguration day, or like commencement day at Adelphi, someone asked me like, what would you do if you can have anything that you ever wanted? And I simply said I want a G5 airplane. And David, the person who was asking all of this, was simply stunned, because like he didn't know exactly how to respond. He was like he was just asking me this question, and I simply responded, yeah, I wanted a G5 airplane. Yeah, that's exactly what I would want, is what I would say. And as a result, he got stunned and he just started laughing. And as a result, I also started laughing. And because that's kind of like a funny thing to do in that situation. So going back to Tropic Thunder, what else do I like? What else do I kind of like know? I still remember like Tom Hanks dancing to the song, apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur, and looking at her. She hit the floor, she hit the floor. Song that Tom Cruise kind of like played, and it made such an impact on my life. Like because Tom Cruise, like I really love the character or like Les Grossman that he portrays, and the main villain from Iron Man is like or Iron Man One. He's also in this movie where he plays the disabled war veteran, where like he makes this. He makes this fake story where like a spoiler alert, like he makes a fake story, and based out of that fake story this movie is created, but like halfway through he says that he is not actually disabled, but and in fact he never even he never like even went to war or something like that. Like I'm not particularly keen on sure on like what exactly like did he say or something like that, but it goes to show you the lens of the movie. Like have, I'm talking and like this thing is just keep on coming and going, and I don't. It's like really late at night, but I really promised myself that I would do this, and as a result, I'm like doing this. And while I'm making my review, I'm doing my best to practice like the use of emphasis and subordination, where you're running through certain words and like certain sub sentences, and you're giving greater stress at certain sentences and certain sub sentences. Yeah, that's kind of like really really important for the audience to kind of like know and to understand. Only if you give them enough breathing room and space will they actually understand and like grow to appreciate the content that you're kind of providing. You can just monotonously keep saying the same thing over and over and over again, and they expect the audience to kind of like not kind of like not brain freeze or not get like overwhelmed with way too much information that they can't even process, that they kind of like simply shut down or decide to change the channel. Like that kids is your number one lesson. Always keep your audience engaged, audience engaged, so that they can be willing participants in this dialogue that you're having like with the screen. Uh, uh, it's like, how do you say, it's not even like you want to have a dialogue with your audience, you do not want to have a monologue, period. And coming back to this movie, like Jack Black, he plays a very phenomenal role. He plays a fat guy in the military, and he's like funny in whatever role that he kind of like plays, because he is Jack Black. And I came to know about Jack Black only after I watched the movie Kung Fu Panda, where in the movie, like the Kung Fu Panda shows so much talent and skill, but he is also a goofball simply because he is a panda, and that's one of the essential scenes of the movie, the Kung Fu Panda. And there was a famous line that someone says about the difference between American and Chinese film industries. One of my friends made the joke. One of my friends, or it's I'm not sure if it's John Green, but the joke was like China has kung fu and pandas, but cannot make a movie like Kung Fu Panda, because like they do not like show information. They want only the Americans can make it, or like was the point that he was trying to drive across, that I'm like simply explaining in simple layman terms. So yeah, that's about it. Like that's the beauty and joy of mm, like living in a capitalist society, where you have the freedoms to say and do whatever you want, as long as like you are not disturbing other people and like causing them harm, and causing them. I'm just flexing to see like how much of my flex is like actually like kind of like visible. I'm I'm sorry to break character every. I'm sorry to break character every now and then, but yeah, you kind of like have to do it. Hmm. Yeah, kind of. Hmm. Going back to Tropic Thunder, what else did I really love about this movie, the scene where he gets captured by the Viet Cong, where he he is forced to play Simple Jack over and over again, was a very delightful treat for the audience. I really loved it as a kid. I mean, like as a college going adult, when I watched the movie, it was spectacular. I really loved the scene, and I still remember the scene to this day where Ben Stiller played Simple Jack, and Robert Downing Jr. Taking on this role of this African American character is a simple. It's what do you call it? It's an example of similar to Tiruvali Arambam, where it's uh, where it is like the character gets so immersed in the when the actor gets so much immersed in the character, he simply forgets that he is an actor, and he is simply starts to identify with as a character, as that particular character, to the point he is completely unaware of the existence of the actor. And that is the reality of life according to Dharma, where we are simply actors acting on stage, but we are convinced that we are the actual, we are the characters and not the actors. And yes, if you get so much immersed in this movie that you get you forget all the simple things, you get to forget the simple things in life. I'm really sorry, ladies and gents, but like I needed to take a drinking break where I had to drink some water. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of like doing. We are like observers. We are the observer. We are the actors. We are so acting to the point that like we forget that we are the play, and also we are the actors. Don't ever forget that. Let's see. I'm trying to flip my head. Let me. Come on, come on, come on. Let me figure out like what I wanted to say. I forgot like what I was doing or like saying. And can I like see my own like biceps or like muscles in frame? Is that like even visible? I don't think it's like even visible, or at least like that much visible. I really I go to the gym like 6 days a week, but it looks like I really need to step my game up and actually like improve my quality of muscle, and not simply just go to the gym just day in and day out where you're just like practicing and stuff. Like you need to actually like have muscles and not just like. I don't know. I don't know who gives a shit. End of the day, no one gives a shit. It's like it's just all you, bro. And yeah, going back to Tropic Thunder, I think that's like every single detail about this movie. The director was like some British guy whose name I forgot, but like he did a really really good, interesting job. Uh, Jack Black, Ben Stiller, who else was in this movie? Like a bunch of unknown actors, so on and so forth. No one really gives a shit about them. I don't give a like no, I actually do give a shit about them because like I want to be a really good director someday where like I want to become the top G kind of like director. So as a result, like I need to really now even if I wasn't a director, even if I was nowhere near Hollywood, I'd still like give a shit about actors in general. I'll give a shit about people in general. Like that's just like who I am. So Robert Downey Jr. his acting role is like really phenomenal. Someone asked me like if they remade Tropic Thunder, or like wait what's the thing? If they remade recast Iron Man as a black person, would they um, who would they pick to play Iron Man? And the first choice that someone said was like Robert Downey Jr. as Black Robert Downey Jr. is what people would pick to play Iron Man. Yes, is the number one pick that like people came to fruition and like came to say like what else like what am I going forward with here? So that's just Tropic Thunder. What else can I pick from the or pick or like do from Tropic Thunder that I can use that is funny where I can practice all my voice acting. What is it? What can I actually do? So yeah, Robert Downey Jr. was good. Ben Stiller was good. In this movie, like Ben Stiller has like really great biceps, triceps, and like deltoids. Like his muscles are actually like really good in this movie because like I instantly when I saw about like Ben Stiller's muscles, I simply the first thing that I actually did was the very first thing that I actually did was check out like what is Ben Stiller's height. So if you're a very short person, it is easier for you to how you say it put on a decent amount of muscle with effort nonetheless, but not way too much effort. Like so that's what Ben Stiller was doing, and like you need to like you can be like 100% lazy. You still need to like put in like a ton of effort for you to do that. But Tropic Thunder is one of those like guilty feel good. It's one of those guilty feel good movies where you don't care about the ending, you don't care about like the plot points. You're there just to eat popcorn and have a nice time with your friends and with your family. And Tropic Thunder clearly delivers on that, like very effectively. And I really appreciate Tropic Thunder for like doing and saying all of this. What else? Like, am I? What else can you praise Tropic Thunder for? So I talked about I Am Sam. I talked in the beginning of the movie. There was all the fake trailers at the beginning of the movie where everyone was making fun of the leading Hollywood tropes and like leading Hollywood actors who are like who who are kind of like made to people are like making fun of them and whatnot, specifically because it's the same old repetitive thing that they kind of like keep on hearing over and over again. As a result, like see, let's see. Tropic Thunder. Yeah, that's it. Like they were making all of the funny movies, and one of the movies like was and one of the movies that you see Jack Black portraying in Tropic Thunder is The Fatties. The Fatties is kind of like a parody of a parody. That's something you very rarely hear, like or like that's something that's very rarely uttered, because like a parody is like uh, Jack Black's movie The Fatties. The trailer for Fatties was a parody of uh, what do you call Eddie Murphy's The Nutty Professor, where the nutty Eddie Murphy kind of like how do you say this? How do you put it this very delicately? Eddie Murphy was kind of he was kind of like making fun of himself for being fat, and he tried his best to get in shape, and he wasn't able to get in shape, and as a result he invents the serum that makes him like slim instantly. But as a result of him getting slim instantly, he now has the problem of like, how do you say this, he now has the problem of uh, a different personality. So every time like he takes a potion, and he he becomes smaller or skinnier, he embodies a personality of a different person, and that is the story of the Nutty Professor. So the Nutty Professor is clearly that, and someone who like goes to the gym a lot, like a lot. My trainer first, when I was working with him, told me it is super easy to lose a lot of weight. It is like really difficult for you to gain muscle. I thought he was simply just joking, because like it is not super easy to lose a lot of weight. But I can now understand what he was saying, and like what he was trying to convey, simply because like I simply because me being in this position, it was really difficult for me to lose fat initially. But like uh, I think Derek from More Plates More Dates clearly pointed it out correctly when he said it's uh, muscle is easy muscle is harder to gain than fat is to lose, were his actual words. And it has like a lot of wisdom to it, where I keep saying like, I know I'm not supposed to say like, where yeah, there's a lot of wisdom to it, where it's it's like easy to do one exercise very effectively, and difficult to do another exercise. But for people who uh, rarely go to the gym, simply the process of going to the gym is really hard for them. And as a result, for that subdivision of people, yeah, simply like showing up and like losing a lot of weight is what you may call it, like it is like life changing for them, simply because they were able to like they were able to come and like lose a lot of weight. Like I can sit here for an hour, I'm just like walking, just what time is it? My hair is kind of like, yeah, I know it's like really easier for me to deviate and go off script, but like I need to like go off script. I need to go off script every once in a while. Otherwise, everything I seem will automatically become really like monotonous. Yeah. So that's so, and it's it'll be difficult for me to go to practice mode and to perfect mode, and most time I'll just like switch to practice mode, or what you may call it. Like you don't like know for sure. So what else can I? What other material can I take from Tropic Thunder? Ben Stiller, he has acted in a lot of good movies, but Tropic Thunder, um, there is a famous skit in Family Guy where Quagmire like says like, simply because he went to Vietnam and served time in Vietnam, he now has PTSD because of the incandescent use of the song "Fortunate Son." Fortunate son. So he says that like whenever he keeps hearing the song, he gets flashbacks of of shit that kind of like happened. So as a result, like his brain is kind of like right. So Fortune Sun was like the track that they kind of like played in Tropic Thunder about like Quagmire, and as a result, like we have all this like issues and so on and so forth, so on and so forth. So Fortunate Son, what else can I take from the like movie Tropic Thunder? It's like really like, again I said, like you're not supposed to say or do certain things, but like but here we are, here we are. I didn't say like, yeah, I got you, I got you. So, and this is the thing, like this is the thing where you need to both practice emphasis and subordination, but also at the same time use pausing at the right time to deliver a point very clearly. That's like that's the basis of theater, and so on and so forth. So, what am I trying to say? Jack Black, uh, Robert Downey Jr., Ben Stiller, the other black guy. So like Robert Downey Jr. is who I see as the African American like lead role. The other like flavor guy is the supporting character like African American. And you don't you get what I'm saying. So like so that's how I kind of like see it. I kind of see it. So coming back, what were we talking about, guys? What were we talking about, guy? Ben Stiller's biceps is really good because he's a short dude. Most people don't give Ben Stiller a lot of like slack, but he he he's actually a really good actor, and most people. It's funny that like because of like factors that are like not in the realm of our control, we get boxed into certain roles that like we cannot escape from. Like Ben Stiller, I think like if he was like 6'2" or 6'3", he would have been a really good action hero instead of simply being an action comedy hero. Like comedy hero where you see this over and over where people get boxed into certain roles that they like intentionally choose or unintentionally choose, which is difficult for them to then come out of the box. So that is the predicament that we have in Hollywood, but also how you have in life. um, Strangely enough, like Tom Cruise is also like you can say like because like you're using approximation. Tom Cruise is also like 5'7", but he plays all this like manly action roles simply because of like simply because of iteration, or simply because of repetition. If you People wouldn't have normally seen Tom Cruise as that much of a strong action role, but like if he keeps on doing it something over and over and over again, then obviously the it will get imprinted on the people's subconscious mind that like that that is just who Tom Cruise actually is. He is this action role player person simply because he simply does the roles over and over and over again. Like you see this in um, Tom Cruise like doing the movie Jack Reacher, and that new guy playing the role Jack Reacher. But Tom Cruise initially he simply stole the script where it was supposed to go to some Alan Troll or like or or whoever else it may be, but Tom Cruise stole it. But it is very people simply by looking at Tom Cruise cannot identify that he is like tall or short, but people can instantly identify that he is not 6'5", and Jack Reacher is 6'5". That's so obviously mentioned in all the books, which you don't see in real life. Hmm. Coming back, so Tom Cruise, he But you gotta hand it to Tom Cruise. Uh, he makes the best out of like what's given to him, given to him. Most people wouldn't do that. Most people would simply accept defeat. So I believe it is much more nicer to have a role model like Tom Cruise than to have a role model like The Rock, who was genetically, who was hardworking, but also you can clearly see that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is genetically gifted to a large extent, and that's why he keeps performing a certain type of role simply because he fits that role. He fits that role perfectly, and no one has a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it, but it goes to show you, it goes to show you, once you get fixed into a box, into a certain type of role, whether you are good at it or bad at it, that simply becomes your role for the rest of your natural life. Some people might like it, some people might not like it, but that just how things kind of work in our world, and you can't simply you can you can't simply you can simply change the rules of the game. You can just simply adopt yourself and modify yourself to uh, modify yourself to play the game much more effective manner, in a much more deliberate and effective manner, is what I am trying to say. So coming back to Tropic Thunder, there was a scene in Tropic Thunder where Ben Stiller kills something he shouldn't have killed, and the very first thing that he does after he kills this unfortunate creature is talk to his agent. Immediately, immediately like Matthew, immediately Matthew McConaughey, after receiving the call, he takes to he talks to Ben Stiller and he simply says, "Oh no, you killed a prostitute. Oh, I'll help you cover it up." And Ben Stiller cries even much more furiously because he has done something even more worst in his opinion, or according to his conscience, where he killed a panda. A panda, killing a panda and a human being. No, you don't want to go into the discussion of like which is like much more, which is more terrible than the other. But let's just say it is really, it is like, it is really awful to see a panda, like panda meet its demise. And speak of the devil, and speak of the devil, it's it's Jack Black, it's Jack Black in the background, and Jack Black is the guy who plays Kung Fu Panda, where Kung Fu Panda is you guys may already know, one of the greatest animated movies of ever, of all time, like of all time. Simply certain movies like Shrek can beat it, but I'm being like really generous here. There are fans who love Kung Fu Panda way more than they love Shrek 2, Shrek 2, and whatnot. All of them are all of them are equally amazing in my aspects. But if I had to pick one, I would still. Mm, it's hard for me to say, guys. I would simply pick Shrek because Shrek has this wonderful story that you don't often see in Hollywood, where like the ugly guy wins, and like he uh, he is the main hero, and like you should not judge people for their inner beauty. You should, I mean, judge people for their outer beauty. Everyone is, a lot of people are beauty on the inside. Some people are like ugly on the inside, ugly on the outside, ugly on the inside, hot on the outside, and some people are like ugly on the outside and very beautiful on the inside. So you shouldn't simply judge people based simply on their appearance. You need to box and judge people on a wide variety of factors, but looks shouldn't looks as in simply their ethnicity or the way their body looks shouldn't be the number one predictor on how you should judge a person. Period. Let's say this in a very different context. Disney, for all its quirks and all its like irritation and his and Disney giving false hope to lot of children, you do have to give them credit though. You do have to give them credit where credit is due. They do tell you certain really good important life lessons that you would not learned in like that you would not have learned anywhere else, where simply you let's just play this say this as easier. Let's just play say this as bluntly as you can. Disney is for kids, but also uh, they trust kids to have the faculties of an adult when they show certain important things, and that has made all the difference. That has made like tremendous amount of like difference in certainly. I'm just like flexing my muscles, my biceps, my biceps, my triceps, and basic basis. I'm like Arnold. I'm like Arnold Schwartz. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And I mean, like, you need to like get into shape, man. You need to seriously get into shape and not just kid around because like you would not get that free time back. But I really love the way that my hair looks. And if you just give me a minute, I'll just take a bathroom break. Howdy, partner. Howdy, partner. Yeah, let's get this rodeo on the way. Whatever you guys say it in Texas. So we have ourselves another 15 minutes. I'm not even sure if you guys can hear me properly. But I'm like really flexing my muscles here, my communication muscles, where I try my best to make sure you guys can understand every single thing that I'm trying to say. And uh, you talk to people not where you are, but where they are at. Where you are at, but you not where you are at, but where they are at, and that's one of the most important and critical components of communication and to become a really good narrator. Hmm. Let's see. Wow, Ben Stiller's biceps looks goddamn amazing, man. Ben Stiller's bicep looks goddamn amazing with the veins popping out and shit. They're they're tremendous, and we might we might we might give Ben Stiller more than his fair share of criticism, more than his fair. We don't like shoot the piss at him, but you gotta admit, you gotta admit for someone from his background and someone who doesn't look that much gifted, he has come up a long way in his life simply because of persistent effort, determination, and gut wrenching strong will of him simply crawling crawling the mud and barbed wire with just simply his elbows. You gotta hand it to Ben. You gotta really hand it to Ben Stiller. He might not be the best, but he is definitely one of the best actors in Hollywood, which I do say unironically. Yeah, which I do completely say unironically because Ben Stiller is simply that much amazing. I think as a kid, I would watch some of Ben Stiller, like I would watch some of Ben Stiller's movies and get inspired by him. The last fresh movie that I saw of Ben Stiller was The Amazing Life of Walter Whitman, where his all his roles within that movie were like spectacularly amazing. Ben Stiller killed all performance in the store. Um, but the most I remember of Ben Stiller is where he is the meme that people share at programmers. Certain programmers are expected to fix problems that other programmers are not able to solve. And Ben Stiller is seen as one of those type of like handyman, is one of those type of like very skillful handyman, where he's just walking in with swag, where he's just coming in with swag to fix a problem that other men can't solve because he is Ben Stiller. Uh, Initially, there were times in my life where I looked at Ben Stiller's face and I got him confused for Paul Rudd, the Ant Man, because they look really similar. But most people in America, most people like who see a lot of American media, they instantly confuse Ben Stiller with Sam Harris. Sam Harris is seen as the intellectual, like Ben Stiller neurosurgeon who, yeah, yeah that's basically it. Like Sam Harris is kind of, he kind of like is Ben Stiller, and I might even surmise, or I might even ponder if uh, is Sam's is Sam Harris a relative of Ben Stiller, or like, or is he simply Ben Stiller's doppelganger? Or a better question yet uh, is Sam Harris doppelganger Ben Stiller? Yeah, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg problem, if you know what I mean, where you don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, and you're in all this confusion and whatnot. But I seem to have forgotten most movies where Ben Stiller has starred in, where like because I'm like really where I'm really I am getting older. So Ben Stiller, I still remember him from the movie Blades of Glory, or I do briefly remember him from the movie Blades of Glory, where he was this champion skater who is fighting off this opponent, and finally at the end of the movie, I think two of America's greatest skaters come together and they perform a rare move, a very rare move that was very rarely performed in the history of the Olympics, and move like that move kind of wins the show and gets them the Olympic gold medal and whatnot. But I still distinctly remember a scene in Blades of Glory where Ben Stiller walks in and talks about the other guy's girlfriend, and he simply says, "Oh, this Stacy, she's not a whore. She's not a whore. You can trust me. Stacy is not a whore." And simply hearing that like made Stacy cover her ears up because like because that's I think simply announcing that his friend's girlfriend is not a slut simply her ruined her. I would not say the honor. What is the word? Reputation. Way more if if she was an actual slut, like, to begin with. I don't know. What else do we know of, like, Ben Stiller from Blades of Glory? Ben Stiller's movies seems to be that. Uh, Ben Stiller played the other movie where he and his friends would go around being dressed as superheroes, and they would be simply be very conscious of the fact that they are cosplaying superheroes, but they are not actually superheroes. But through the course of the movie, they go through the hero's journey, and at the end of the hero's journey, they become actual heroes. So a hero is not someone who simply wears a cape, a hood, or simply a costume. As hero is simply someone who is. And this taking you towards the hero's journey simply confines into you and shows you that you are such of a good person, or you, hero is not a hero exemplifies the idiom, it's not the journey, it's not the destination, it is the journey. And such is the story of a hero's journey. No one, a hero does not take the journey of a hero, but while you take the hero's journey, you end up becoming a hero. It's kind of similar to uh, the young student asking to the wise sensei, how long will it take an average person to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu? And the master replies, an average person does not get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Maybe while in the process of getting a jiu-jitsu black belt, an average person transforms himself into an above average or an accomplished person for the fact of getting a black belt in jiu-jitsu. But that goes to show you, uh, there's like so much wisdom. We're talking about black belts. How did we come to black belts? We said black belts, black belts. The hero's journey. I think the name of the movie where Ben Stiller and his friends were cosplaying heroes as madmen, or those rogue vigilantes, teenagers who think they are superheroes, who go up against like everyone, and finally at the end of the movie, they do actually become heroes by taking on the hero sacrifice, and so on and so on. But Jack Black, there is very little ambition in the movie. I really liked Robert Downing Jr.'s portrayal where he was so meta, while at the end of the movie he simply tears open a lot of these actors or character that he's playing, and in each character he becomes a different version of himself, and at the bottom he says he doesn't know who he even is. But Ben Stiller walks in and he says, "Yeah, I know I know exactly who you are. You are my friend," and that melts Robert Downey Jr.'s hearts away. So that's you gotta hand it to Ben Stiller. Sometimes this improvised. I think this was an improvised line. Does so much better than his scripted lines. And speak of the devil, like along with Toby Maguire, along with Robert Downey Jr., you had Toby Maguire playing the gay priest who was Robert Downey Jr.'s lover in a movie about uh, two fathers or two pastors being in love, so on and so forth. So that's the, but it goes to show you, like, it goes to show you that this movie has so many cameos and so many people who you never think of being in this movie, but somehow end up actually being in this movie or here, and as a result, yeah, things be funny, things be wildly entertaining because of that, and yeah, things do be funny if you want to put it in an African American accent. Things do be funny in Tropic Thunder. just like you role playing like Robert Downey Jr. I'm wondering in during next Halloween I'll be allowed to role play Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder. I know America has regressed a little bit backwards, but I believe there are enough sensible, progressive Americans who would support me, who would think, hmm, this guy kind of like has a point. Everything is seen in a light-hearted fashion. Everyone should not take their lives way too seriously and simply laugh it off. So I'm really wondering if me as a as an Indian guy can role play an African who can role play Robert Downing Jr., who is also role playing an African American gentleman. And let's just see how that runs through and how much people appreciate you for doing such roles and so on and so forth. But the thing is, like, this is I'm really like my one or two subscribers. I You guys mean the world to me. Thank you for helping me build up the confidence to make such exercises happen where I practice a lot of skill throughs and where I definitely increase my tonality to know the audience, what they are listening to, and which is really important. And that's about it. And using pausing in ways to improve your story, so on and so forth. I know, like I know you get. This is kind of like a game where you get points for improving the way that you spoke, the way that you articulate yourself, and also the way that you come across as. If you have a deep voice which is completely monotone, then there is no necessity for that deep voice. You need to kind of like show contrast to show the beauty of that deep voice so that your contrast is what makes beautiful things way more beautiful than they actually are, or you can say that they reveal the true beauty. I don't know. So that's about it, guys. This has been an awesome experience. Throughout the time I felt so exuberant. I really enjoyed doing this, and I'm looking forward to internalizing it so that it just simply becomes an ingrained habit that you kind of can keep doing over and over and over, kind of like again, and it just simply becomes a part of you. Uh, this goes back to my lifting, starting of my lifting, where you put so much time, energy, and effort into something simply for people to laugh it off, where people do not take anything that you're saying even remotely seriously. But let's just see how things work out where you are practicing like I keep saying, like, where there is a strength training mechanisms where let's just see how it works. Strength training mechanisms where uh, I put so much time, energy, and effort, and I was not even making a subtle interest of progress until I you there is a famous Roman axiom which says you don't know how strong that you can be until being strong is the only option that you have. And that quote is phenomenal. It is beautiful. So, and such is life. Life gives you so much lemons, you make lemonade out of it. And yeah, this goes to back to Tom Cruise and one of Tom Cruise's interesting movies where Vanilla Sky is where he says, uh, you don't, you truly can't enjoy the sweet. It is because it's not simply, because it is never sweet without the sour. Is the famous quote from Vanilla Sky. So let's just see going forward, so far and so forth. How, but that's the beauty of windowless sky. For you to go on and move out, you need to enjoy the beauties and joys of the imperfections, the beauty of like even my thing that I have. It's like the imperfections are kind of what makes us truly beautiful.